I was hoping that this day wouldn't come for a while, but unfortunately it has, which is I lost the freelancing gig. I woke up this morning to news that the project's gone on hold, and yeah, that's on hold. It comprised the majority of our revenue for the month. For every month, it's something we've been working on for a number of years. Certainly came a bit out of the blue. And that's sort of what happens in consulting, freelancing type world. The hard part being when you're the small shop, you don't have this like laundry list of kind of customers backlog and whatnot that you're necessarily picking off of or shifting things around. So when it happens, you sort of feel like you got fired, even though it's not really a reflection upon your work, but you know where I'm at, which is at the bottom. And this feels like not an ideal time because we just got slapped with a giant tax bill to pay taxes because things were miscalculated last year. And so the accounts have been drained. And here we are. What the flying fuck? Wow. Nine years ago, I started Unspecified as on the side of another company. And by starting, filed paperwork, made a name, got a domain. And clearly by the name, you can realize sort of like everything that I do, it's got this abstract name that really means nothing, maybe means more to me than anybody else, but whatever. And it's sort of floundered through the time. It's been the day job. And surprisingly, I think it's this October, it'll be 9 years. It feels weird to know that we've had this company for 9 years and it's supported us. It's been the primary source of income. And since the pandemic, things have kind of gotten fucked up because we made an active decision to focus our time on that conference while still getting paid from Unspecified and sort of draining that account. But moved to that to try to make sure that survived. That was a little bit more heart than necessarily mind. You know where we sit today with that. And the plan then that we tried to put in place clearly has not gone to fruition. Otherwise, it'd be in a different spot. But Unspecified's kind of been this, we had some people, we were doing some consulting projects, companies here in the Midwest. Microsoft was one of them, although they're not in the Midwest. But we've kind of done our thing, and it's been our place, and it's been the day job, and it's been a quiet thing, and it supported TC and gave, a lot of runway there for us to keep those operations going. And it's just been this kind of quiet thing, but it's sort of our everything, if you will. And it hasn't gotten the attention that it needs. And I was fearful of today. I was fearful of the day that we would get here and I'd get the call to say that this isn't there because I haven't been working the two jobs. Like, it's been really hard for me to do the day job and then kind of transition to the other thing. And although we've started the coaching and we've done some of that, and that's been really great, but the reality is I got, I don't know, sub 10 people, 8 or 9 people. And, that's not enough to make a living on by any stretch. But these kind of two worlds have existed. And, if you're in engineering, the context switch is hard. When you get into deep work, you need to be focused on the deep work. And I'm doing engineering work for these folks. And there's potentially other projects. There's always something else, maybe. But anyways, Unspecified's been this place where we've sort of done this stuff. And I don't know. Here I am sharing way too much probably in this whole grand scheme of things. But if I want to share this journey and talk about it, well, then I got to talk about all of it. And here I am. So this morning I get the call or I get the message and it's going on pause. And we had another project months ago that the same thing fucking happened. And, is it the economy? Is it this? Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of all the things. When people say, "Oh, it's on pause," we'll kick it back up in a couple of months. I'm kind of like, yeah, sure. It's a pretty good indicator of like, maybe, but doesn't matter. I am where I am, so I'm left in this place of like reading Jason's comments or all of your comments. Burnout and this and that. The realities of life of like, gotta pay fucking bills. This shit has to be done, and then I go back to like, company, product, service, giving back to the world and all that. And the reality is I know how to make product. I know how to interact with people. I know how to. I've been in the event game for a long time. A lot of people come to me for help speaking, and years ago we started this whole thing called Speaker.help, and it was centered around providing speakers help. And so this idea has sort of been percolating in the back of my head for a while. And then there's AI stuff that's sort of hitting the mechanism, the streets, and now I find myself with an abundance of free time and a lot of confusion, and I just kind of go back to like, well, just fucking do what you do, and figure the rest of this shit out later. And maybe this is the time where I just build the speaker thing that I've done, and maybe I can build it fast. The clock is ticking. I don't have endless money by any stretch, and maybe I just fucking throw it. I don't know. The irony is I'm going up north for a few days. I didn't sort of like perfect timing. I was sort of juggling, releases and deliverables, and now all of a sudden I've got none of that. All the little green squares that I had planned for the next 2 months. The fucking plan doesn't matter. But shit, like, it's like nothing has been fucking easy. Nothing has been, it's like the plan hasn't hit when it's needed to hit. And it's eroded at my confidence. I get scared. And then I start to question things, and then my back is up against the wall, and I'm just tired of my back being up against the wall. Like the last 5 years, it's been this constant fucking grind of like, get the shit, do it, do the sales. And when we started going through all the talks, it was about a year ago, maybe at this time, maybe not quite a year. We had started to plan like, well, when TC's not in play, what are we going to ramp up in and do? What is that going to look like? And we were doing unspecified stuff, but what does that look like after August? And then when August came, kind of getting there, and I knew that I needed to work 2 jobs to sort of build one up. So when this day came, like, it wasn't like, oh shit. And now I find myself in like, oh shit. And I don't know. Such is life. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to be mad about it. There's nothing I can fucking do other than, when you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, these things sort of happen. Things happen. You fucking roll with it. You kind of go down the next path and do it. And it just happened to be this place where it feels like I've just been, punched in the back of the head so many times. And I ask myself, am I on the wrong street? Am I in the wrong place? What am I not seeing that just keeps happening? But here we are. That was my Friday. I got a lot of figuring out to figure out.